Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium, and today we're going to talk about signs from the universe, or signs from your spirit guides, and or maybe even your crossed over loved ones. How do we get signs? Where do we see them? Why do we see them, right? How can we notice them more? These are the things I'm going to talk about today in this video. It's going to be a relatively short video. I hope it's going to be succinct and understandable and going to leave you with some information that you can then use to find signs from your spirit guides in your own life. Now, we're all different, okay? This is the thing that I really need you to hear. My signs are not going to be your signs, okay? My signs are sort of dialed in for me, right? So they use things that they know that I'm going to notice, that I'm going to be aware of. Those same things may not be something that you're aware of or that you would notice, okay? So please understand that. So I think what I'll say right now, and I will also say that while I'm doing these videos, I'm a channel, so I channel my spirit guides and other beings. But during these videos, I channel my spirit guides, and they talk to me while I'm doing these videos. So they just said to me, that I should list some of the things that everybody could experience as a sign. Okay, so as I go through the video, I'm going to be talking about things that I've experienced, right? But I also want you to understand things that you may experience that are more general. So let's start off with that. So right now, I would say that signs can come in any form. So they can come in the form of a song. You may have a song inside your head that you start singing, right? This happens to us, right? We start singing a song, we start humming the melody. We don't know why, because we haven't heard that song in quite some time, right? We haven't heard that song yesterday or today or even last week, but here it is playing in our head. Why and how? And what does it mean? Well, that's a sign. That could be from one of two sources. It could be from your spirit guides, or it could be from your crossed over loved ones. Either source is possible. Now, what does it mean? Well, you listen to the song. So sometimes, and frankly, this does happen to me, but I'm not a media person. I don't know actresses and actors and songs and movies. I just don't know that stuff. So when I start humming a tune or a melody, or even singing the words to the song, I know that's out of character for me, but it doesn't matter, because if you sing songs all the time and a song comes to you from a place that you don't remember, like, I haven't heard this song in a month or a year or 10 years, that's a sign, okay? You can take that as a sign. Now, what you do is you want to go online. If you don't know the lyrics, you want to go online and find the lyrics. Can't tell you how many times, since I don't know media, that I've had to look up a song with one or two words, or three words that I'm having repeated in my mind. So you go online, you look up those words, and you discern a message from those words. Now, you're not going to look up all of the whole song necessarily. If it doesn't resonate with you, don't take it on. So you read the words before and after, the words that you have been singing, or the melody, the part of the melody that corresponds with those words. And those words have a meaning for you. Now, we sometimes take these meanings to be, a sign from God, and we take them a little too seriously, perhaps, right? Or they don't make any sense, right? Like, I can't understand what they're trying to tell me. And then what happens? We engage our brain. Once our brain is engaged, you're not really on the right track. You can use your brain to look up the words. You can use your brain to find the website. Once you get the information, the brain has to be sort of pushed out of the way, because the brain doesn't understand messages from spirit. So I'm going to say that again. The brain does not understand messages from spirit. The brain understands our 3D life, 2 + 2 = 4, how to stop at a stop sign, right? How to please, your boss, or be a good mom, or whatever, all those things, right? Those are things that we learn as humans. but we're engaging in a part of our body and a part of our spiritual body that isn't all that human. Okay? So the brain doesn't understand spiritual information. So go back to our song. What do? Now we have the song, we have the lyrics, and we're staring at them, and we're either saying, oh my God, that makes sense, wow, or we're saying, what in the world are they talking about? Okay, so if it's the latter and you don't know what they're talking about, I would suggest strongly that you get a little pad, or you put in your phone or your tablet or your computer today's date or the date of the song. You might want to write briefly what you were doing. I mean, literally, like I was making pancakes, right? Whatever that is. And then you want to write maybe 5 keywords. If you're not a writer, I always say this because I'm not a writer and I find it very hard to journal, to be honest with you. But I can't emphasize enough how much more sense all of your spirit messages are going to make if you can put them in one place and go back and knit them together or connect the dots. Taken on their own, they may not make that much sense. Do this for 2 weeks, and you've got a story that your spirit guides, maybe even your crossed over loved ones, are telling you. And it makes a lot more sense. It's actually guidance. It turns into guidance, okay? So you're going to write it down. And maybe if you can't make sense of it, you're just going to let it be. Remember, the brain doesn't make sense of spiritual information. So just let it be. Now, you may get hyper-focused on messages and start looking for them everywhere, right? You may be in a place in your life where you really need guidance, and you start looking for messages everywhere, and you may not find them. That's just the truth of the matter, because our emotion tends to block. To be honest with you, our emotion can sometimes block our connection to spirit. Very much so when you're in grief and you're trying to get a message from someone that you love that has crossed over, meaning that has passed. Okay? That is very hard for them to get their message through emotion. Emotion gums up the pipeline of the spiritual, pipes. Okay? So when we can get to a place where we're not as emotional or we're not as grief-stricken, then the messages come through much easier. Okay, so if you're going through a rough patch in your life and you're thinking, I just need some guidance, right? I need some help over here. I would tell you the best thing to do if you want to get spiritual guidance from your spirit guides is to get a pack of oracle cards. And honestly, most any oracle card will do. However, I like, you're going to find out something about, I'm the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance is the one that I like. And I'm impatient. So these cards have, the message on them. It says right there what the message is. Okay. So, the message here is she who persists is the messe So this deck is called Ellie, and I still don't know how to pronounce this. It's French. Qui, maybe. Ellequi. Ellequi Oracle. And you could get it on Amazon. But there's so many Oracle decks out there. Mostly anything by Colette Baron Reed is a great deck. Here's one called the Goddess Power Oracle deck. So, you can do whatever you want, but pull a card every day, not 20 cards. Okay. You're going to confuse yourself. When we pull 10 cards, we're getting our brain involved. It's more to consume, right? And if you're already in a weird place, you're already overthinking. And you're at risk of overwhelming yourself and not getting the message. Okay, so if you're in a tight spot, just pull one card. Do it for a week. Do it for 3 days. See what the message is. What are you going to ask? This is super important. What do I need to know for my highest good and for my good angels and guides about the subject, the relationship, the money, the job, the whatever. Okay, so you want to be very specific, and you want to ask the same question every day. If you ask different questions, you're going to get different answers, and you're not going to get guidance on that one subject. If you just want to ask every day, what do I need to know for my highest good? Go right ahead and do that. They'll tell you. In 2 weeks, you'll look back and you'll get guidance, okay? So going back to signs, I was talking about songs, but I also want to talk about repeating numbers. Now, this is my phone. This is what I just got, 818. Today is Sunday, February 20, okay? This is a screenshot. This is my wallpaper, whatever, of my phone, 818. Now, 818 is interesting in itself, okay? Because it's a repeating number. But I looked at my phone earlier, and it was 808. So the first one I got was 808. And the second one I got was 818. So now I'm getting, that's two repeating numbers that are in the eights. Now, to me, that's significant, but I work with my guides a lot. I understand they're trying to get my attention. Now, if you're getting 111, 333, 444, repeating numbers throughout the day that are different, or throughout your week, and you may be getting these repeating numbers through your phone, through your clock, through license plates, through billboards. I mean, people get them in different ways. I am never late. So, I mean, I'm just saying that I'm a person that watches time. Let's put it that way. So they use time for me. But I know people that get these numbers on license plates, okay? So however it is that you might see repeating numbers is how they'll get it to you, okay? So now for you, if you're seeing 111 all the time, then I would look up angel number 111. I happen to like Joanna Sacred Scribe for angel numbers. You may feel more resonant looking up the numerology of 111. You may look up meaning of number 111 and look at 3 different websites and find what resonates with you. Again, in the very beginning of this video, I said we're all different. My meanings, my things may not work for you, and that's okay. This is something that's not said enough in the spiritual community. There's not just one way to do things, and your spirit guides are not going to make you do it in just one way. They're going to work with you in any way they can to guide you. Okay? So, let me go on and say, another way that spirit guides work with me is through balls. Okay, now I've talked about this on other videos. I have other videos. As a matter of fact, if you go to my main YouTube page by clicking on my name, you'll see all my videos, and you'll actually see a heading that says playlist. And you can look at the playlist and find a playlist for anything spiritual that you might imagine. Okay, and certainly ones on spirit guides. But for me, I find balls. I found this recently. I usually put a date on it, but I didn't. Now, why do I find balls? Well, because my spirit guides know that that I just like this. You know, like I would just be the kind of person who would throw a ball. I would throw a ball against, you know, the house and catch it. Throw a ball in the air. I'm not a sporty person. I just happen to. I like activities and sports. I'm just not very good at them. But anyway, so what happened was I started seeing balls, and I thought, that's weird. I mean, like, look, when you're driving on a 4-lane highway and you're at a red light and there's a tennis ball in the road, in the middle of the road in front of you, that just catches my eye. Here's another thing. I'm a very visual person. They understand that I'm a visual person, right? So they catch my eye through visual meanings, visual signs. You may be an auditory person. You may hear birds singing. You may hear songs. You may hear things. That might be how they catch your attention. You might be an empathic, I'm an empath. A lot of us are, but you may be even super empathic, in which you feel. I feel things, right? I feel that this tree is happy in the sun today, right? I feel things, okay? So for me, I started noticing balls everywhere. And I want to tell you that it took at least 6 months of me seeing balls in odd places before I realized that was a sign that I should pay attention to. And then I started picking them up. I just picked them up because I would be on a trail in the middle of the woods and I would see a ball miles from the trailhead, even more miles and miles from any kind of school or any kind of anything, right? Odd place to find a ball. So I started picking them up. Now, a lot of you guys have seen this, but I'm going to show you again. These are the balls that I have found. All kinds of balls. This is a big thing, and it's heavy. But today I found a ball. Okay? A weird ball, a squishy ball, a kid's ball. I found it in an alley. Now, if you add this to the fact that I got 2 repeating numbers, okay? Add this to the fact that I got 2 repeating numbers. Those are messages. So how I gauge this, I see something once, I'm like, that's interesting. See it twice, I pay attention. You got my attention now. I see it 3 times, I get 3 messages. To me, that's a message. 3s, that's a message that I probably should pay attention to. So I saw 2 repeating numbers. And then I saw a forked tree branch. Now that's weird, right? The first thing I saw was the forked tree branch, and I thought, that's weird. I mean, I can't explain to you except for that when you do this work, you start to understand that some things have energy. You start to feel comfortable with how they're guiding you. Like I said, at first it took me 6 months to even understand they were sending balls to me. Okay? It takes time. This is a muscle. You got to work it out, right? It's a muscle. So if you see, like I saw the forked tree branch, and I thought, weird. Kept walking my dog. 2 steps later, I saw 2 pieces of wood in the sidewalk in front of me, laying vertical in the sidewalk in front of me. Now, clearly, somebody had been cutting some trees, whatnot, except for these pieces of wood weren't trees. So, and they were literally 4 steps away from the first forked tree. 2, 2. I'm thinking, okay, that's interesting. Now I'm sort of paying attention. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that if I'm looking, I'm going to find it, right? Some people might say, well, if you're looking for something, you're going to find it, right? This is what you would say normally. Well, of course, if I'm paying attention, I'm going to see 2s everywhere. Not true. Not true. And I'll tell you why. Well, go try it. First of all, just try it. Try looking for red cars. You know what I mean? But secondly, I have a friend who finds 4-leaf clovers pretty frequently. I would say whenever I'm out walking with her, she would find them 1 out of every 5 times that I'm out with her, which is pretty frequent. Think about it, finding a 4-leaf clover. Well, I'll tell you, this was before I started getting signs. Okay, and I'm a Virgo. I'm actually a Capricorn and a Virgo, and I'm pretty pragmatic and practical and analytical. So when she would find a 4-leaf clover, I'd start looking for a 4-leaf clover. I'm thinking this is genetics, right? There's some kind of genetic predisposition for this particular clover to be here, and if there's 1, there's likely to be more because they're probably seeded together or growing together, right? So I would literally get on my hands and knees, swear to God, and look for these 4-leaf clovers. Sometimes I would literally lay on my belly and look for these 4-leaf clovers in the 5 by 5 foot area that she found one. I never found one. In 20 years, I've never found a 4-leaf clover. Another case in point. I lived in Galveston, which is an island off the coast of Texas. God bless it. And when I was living there, there's a beach. And people would often find shark's teeth. Now, for a living, I was a photographer that photographed people on the beach. I was on the beach every single evening at sunset. In the summer, 7 days a week, I was on the beach every single day at sunset. And I would often get there, remember, I like to be on time. I would often be 20 minutes early, and I'd walk along the beach looking for shark's teeth. Do you know how many clients that I would put on the beach and they would look down and go, oh my God, here's a shark's tooth. It'd be this big. Never, ever found one. Never. So I'm looking, but I'm not finding. So I can promise you, if you go looking for something, you're not going to find it just because you're looking for it. But if Spirit wants you to find it, you're going to find it. Okay? So now, what do I have here? What do I have here? I have a forked stick, 2 sticks in the middle of my sidewalk, 808 and 818 on my phone, and a ball. Now, I will admit to you, when I got the last 818 and I said, holy smokes, something's going on here. I got a message coming through. I thought, God, it would be really interesting to find a ball right now, wouldn't it? That's when I found the ball. Another thing, I found the ball when I was on an extended part of my walk with my dog. The weather is so nice down here in Houston. For once, we've had a crazy winter, the way all the rest of you have, that I just kept walking. I just didn't want to stop. And I just extended it, kept going. That's when I found the ball. So what does all this mean? Right? So, my gosh, my guides are basically pelting me with messages. And what does it mean? Well, you look up angel numbers, 818 and 808, and I'm going to put it up on the screen for you to read it, but it basically says, there's a change. You're going to have a change. Now, what does a forked stick mean? Right? So before I got to the 808 and the 818, I was using my brain, wrong, right? What in the heck does this stick mean? So what you do is, instead of thinking, you do this thing where you just say whatever comes to your mind. Okay, so that's different. When I'm thinking, I'm analyzing, trying to figure it out. When I allow my mind to just produce the very first thing that comes to my mind, I'm allowing Spirit to have some influence on my mind. So as I was walking my dog, and before I found these other things, I started thinking, okay, greater than, less than, greater than, less than. No, I don't know, because that could have 2 different meanings. That's not definitive. Well, I know it's 2. I know it's a 2 for sure. So I just started letting my mind just, okay, it's a stick. It's brown. It's got a 2. It's got a fork in the road. It's got, greater than or less than. It could be a divining rod, right? So divining rods, they used in the old days to find water. I'm just kind of thinking everything I could think of, I'm throwing out there. Well, now if you add a fork in the road, and you add the 808 and the 818, you start to see that there's a change. A fork in the road means you have to choose, right? You can't go straight anymore. You have to do something different. You have to choose this or that. And then you add the 808, you get the change, and then you add the ball for confirmation. Okay? So you could see that now they're telling me, hey, Susan, there's a fork in the road coming that was going to is going to ask you to change something, to choose this over that. And yes, we are with you. We're supporting you. right? So that's how I would read that whole thing that happened, right? So again, I'm a visual person. They leave me visual things. When I was starting my spirit guide class, which I'm sorry, I'm going to apologize right now. I don't advertise my classes on YouTube very often because they book up before I get a chance to. I have a lot of clients and I send an email to my clients first, and they almost always book the class before I can even announce it on YouTube. However, we'll see how that can change in the future. But I had a very fun and just amazing, I was so grateful to be a part of it, spirit guide class. And the day before the class, look what I found in an alley that I was walking my dog. So sometimes I go down alleys and sometimes it's more to sniff, right? I found this. Now it was like this. Now I've done a video on this. Again, if you'll go to my playlist, you'll see all these videos. It was upside down in the dirt, and you can see how torn up it is. It was upside down. So I can only see this side. So I walked past it. I walked past it. I mean, I saw it, but I walked past it. And then I got 3 steps, and I had to stop and turn around and go back and get it. I didn't really want to pick it up. It was covered in dirt. It was in the alley. But I knew. I had an urge. I had a feeling. I had a knowing. I need to look at that. What in the heck is a playing card doing in an alley in the dirt? Okay, well, it fell out of somebody's trash. I'm sure it did. I'm not saying that it came here from the 5th dimension. I'm saying that it fell out of the trash because my spirit guides wanted it to. So when I flipped it over, it was a 4 of spades. So what does a 4 mean? That's a message, you guys. That was just around the time that I was starting the class. It means foundation. 4 legs to a table. 4 legs to a table make a table very, very stable, right? So they were telling me, right? So some other ways you might get messages would be through feathers, white feathers, blue feathers, black feathers. Some of us pick up feathers. I have feathers right here behind me. Well, here's a beautiful white feather, right? Now, again, if you don't write this stuff down, you're going to be like, oh, I got a message. But a month later, you're not going to remember what this message was. And that might be good enough for you. But if you want to get the guidance, you really want to have some kind of book that as these things happen, you just jot it down. Found a white feather on this date. If you don't have time to write, just put found a white feather on this date. Because when you look back, you might find 2 pages later that something really, that you got to raise, right? Something good happened, right? Or you had a premonition, or maybe a crossed over loved one visited you in a dream, right? So you can connect the dots. So you're not just, experiencing spirit dropping into your life random things, which is step 1. Step 1 is recognizing the spirit's dropping random things into your life. Step 2 is creating a meaning, figuring out the meaning, understanding the meaning, getting the guidance that they're trying to give you, right? So what other ways? I also crystals. You might find rocks. You might find crystals wherever you are. When I was on vacation in New Mexico, I happened to be in a place where I found rocks and crystals. And I was going to find, they're usually right in front of me, but I found these amazing quartz crystals. That's a big hunk. It's going to be too bright, but that's not chalk. That's actually some sort of quartz. So, you might find things like this. Like I also pick up rocks. I like rocks. So it would be normal for them to throw a crystal in there or throw an interesting rock in there, right? So they're going to do what you like to do. They know you. They know who you are. They know what you like. So they're going to help you in that way. For you, it might be animals, right? You might see butterflies. You might see caterpillars. You might see, you might pick up shells, see starfish, see dolphins. You might see shooting stars. You might be a person who, for some reason or another, you see shooting stars more often than anybody else. That's not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence. In my book, there's no such thing as a coincidence. That's just how I live now. And so you can live this way too. You can get messages, you can get guidance from your guides. And hopefully this video was helpful for you, and it's given you some new things to think about, and also some new ways to connect with your own spirit guides and crossed over loved ones. The other thing, I'll just finish up by saying, your crossed over loved ones also can send you songs. They can send you feathers. Discerning which is which can be difficult unless you collect the signs, put them in a book, and you get the message, right? Even so, your father, your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather, whoever it is that's on the other side may still be giving you a similar message that your guides are giving you, okay? So, of course, they're going to give you messages of love and support, right? They may even say, Susan, you've got to change, fork in the road coming up. Heads up, be aware. Take some time now to consider it so that when it gets here, you're not kind of thrown off. This is something I like to say, forewarned is forearmed. The reason I like to give readings and get readings is because if I know something may be coming, I can consider it now and have time to consider it so that when it happens, if it happens, I'm not blindsided by it and I don't know what to do. Aha, I thought this may be coming. Now I can consider how I might handle it. So your loved ones may send you that message as well. With some work and some time, you can actually discern who's who, okay? So I'll leave it with that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Of course, I offer classes. I have a membership on Patreon, which is really cool because we do a lot of one-on-one videos where you get one-on-one readings, one-on-one spiritual assessments, that kind of thing. So check out all those things in the description of this video. And many blessings to you. I wish you all the best. Take good care of yourself, and we'll talk soon right here on this channel.